Hello, Ivan Smith. Have you gone nervous? Right. Tell us what. Right. Tell us who you are first.
My name's Ivan Smith. I'm from Manchester. I was brought up in Moss Side and then Wythenshawe.
How long was you in Moss Side and then how young was you when you went to Wythenshawe?
When we left Manchester, my parents, mum and dad, they went to Sheffield to live, where my mum's from. And my mum was carrying me inside a tummy at the time.
Right.
So, anyways, and then my dad was moaning about going back to Manchester. So my mum decided to go. They decided to move back, and then that's when I was born. Yeah, that's when I was born. Then at Moss Side, at the side of Kippack Street.
Kippack Street. Can't picture Kippack Street. Where's Kippack?
Main Road.
Oh yeah, of course.
Man City.
Yeah.
Old Main Road.
Oh my God! And what year was that?
Oof, that would have been in 19...
Oh, 58.
Yes,
yeah.
58.
I lived on Main Road, but that would have been about 64.
So my mum still was not happy.
Right.
So when I was about 3 months old, they moved back to Yorkshire again.
Until how long?
Then until I was about 6, then we come back to Manchester.
All right. So
and then that's when we ended up moving to Wythenshawe.
Right, so these are evaluation videos, right, about excavating the Reno. So tell me what you did. Just start talking.
Right.
Go on.
Well, on the day that I arrived at the excavating the Reno club, I just thought to myself, ooh, gold. What can we find? We can find anything, wallets, anything.
How did you hear about it, Ivan?
It was I got a message on the Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And the message was from yourself, if you remember.
No, I don't remember.
Yes,
yeah.
It was from yourself. He says he asked me he invited me to come down on that day, which that day I did arrive. Anyways, and wow, I was just, to me it was just, as soon as I arrived there and I saw what everybody was doing with different jobs and so on, as I looked, it was just like, I was imagining the past.
Oh.
And I could see the past. And I was imagining all kinds of things, I was imagining the people that we'd lost. And I was imagining the faces and still seeing them. Just for them split seconds of feeling, that feeling that you get excitement in doing what we were involved in, that was being involved in.
How far on was it excavated when you arrived?
I think it was was it day 4, day 9 or something?
No, it was early on.
It was early on, wasn't it? I forgot,
No, I have. But you was there every day then?
Yeah, every day,
Yeah. What was bringing you back?
Wow, it was, you see, doing something like that, it was so spiritual. You felt you had to do this because it was not just for yourself, it was for the past of our past, our roots, and the people that weren't there that we could even speak for.
Oh.
And it was such a big family thing to me. It was a family thing, and we were all there to bring back the past and let it be known.
I like the way you said that.
And I'm proud to be a part of that.
You should be, and you was a huge part, Ivan. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
He was, every single time I needed somebody to rely upon, there was a few of you, and you was definitely one of them. You know, that I could say, can you help me do this, like when we made the brick path. And do you remember me, you and Fonzo making the bridge across when it was really muddy?
Yeah.
And the hug when we'd finished, because it took all lunchtime, didn't it?
Didn't it? And we got soaked.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
we probably got a shower that morning. We got an extra shower.
Yeah. I remember Fonzo throwing a brick and I didn't catch it and it hit the mud, and then I was just like, it was just great fun though as well, wasn't it?
It were. And not only that, when you thought of that idea, then everyone else realised that it was a great idea. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Because it was right on the pathway.
Yeah.
We built it as a path from there to a path leading all the way to the hut, like you said.
Yeah.
And it was the right thing. And no one thought of it. Only all of a sudden Linda just clicked. That's when you called me.
No, because it was just so much bad trouble to get across and get wet all the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. God, it was like, I mean, I've never been there. What's that place called now? Glastonbury.
Yeah.
My boots was
yeah, it was proper mud at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite moment, Ivan?
My favourite moment. That day when all of a sudden we had an explosion moment. I had a moment and it was explosive. Involving, like, you know, I just started to entertain. So when I started entertaining, that was fabulous. It was a great moment because as I was doing it, because all of a sudden as John spoke to me and says, Ivan, are you ready to do that little part you was talking about? I went, yeah. And then all of a sudden I felt something and I just exploded in my, you know, entertaining. And I felt, and it felt so spiritual. Like I felt, there were people all around and they were all dancing and everything, but I could only, like, you know, I could just feel the power of it. It was just.
What was you doing?
Couldn't really describe.
Is it the moment you was dancing you're talking about? What was you doing?
When I was doing
yeah.
Dancing, and then you put that backing track music to it. And I thought, wicked, that was wicked, that. And
it was weirdo, but it was weirdo in a beautiful way. But do you know what? Loads of people have enjoyed that moment on the video.
That's what I said.
So it travels, feeling travels from you through the video to everybody that watches it.
Yeah, and like I say, at that moment, I felt that spiritual wildness, and like I could feel people that had passed and gone, but they were there. Like they were around me. I couldn't see them, but I felt it. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing experience.
What about, my memory of you a lot, as well as in the canteen. You know, in our...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tell us about what that felt like. You know, like in our cabin, what Susie made into our canteen.
What that felt like?
Yeah.
It just felt, it felt so, you know, like it was one big family. All getting together and being there for each other and making it happen for the documentary. And I felt, wow, Ivan, you have a part here to uphold.
Yeah.
And wow, it just felt great. It was great experience. And I only wish that we could do more things like that.
We will at the Whitworth, don't you worry, lad, don't you worry.
And I'm looking forward to the next project.
Tell me what you're welcome. Tell me what you felt when it ended.
Oh, it's very, very sad. I was very sad. Because from when the time you called me and says, Ivan, you invited me down and that. And then when it finished, God, I felt so lost, you know, because I met people from back in the days, and people who I met for the first time in my life, so I made new friends. Oh, wow. And then when that ended, wow, it was so sad. I wanted it to just not end. I wanted it to stay like that.
Oh, that
I was so happy.
That had a bit of a feeling of the Reno, that feeling. What you were describing there is a bit like the Reno, and that it was always there for us to go and have a bit of.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? And you could kind of guarantee that even if you turned up on your own, somebody that we knew would be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the feel that was the feel that I got to. Get my words out. Yeah. Yes, Linda, we've definitely got to get that other project on
we will. What did you learn?
What did I learn? Wow. It brought me out my shell.
Oh, did it?
Before that, I was feeling really down and worthless. I felt there's nothing for me in life. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was somebody.
Oh.
Okay. And it gave me that belief, that hope to believe and not let anything get in your way. And that's me now. There's no going back.
Oh, I remember being like amazed at how many people knew you.
I know.
You know, and was really happy to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know me from, the 80s mainly. A lot of the 80s, from the 80s and that, because I used to go around and with Marcel King at the Sweet Sensation, and I used to do vocals and write songs together with him up until the early 90s, and then he passed away. God bless him. R.I.P. Marcel King. And then my whole life just went downhill when he died, because that's all I knew was music, and Marcel was the person that got me out of my shell and got me involved in music. And then when he died, that was it. I thought, there's nothing left for me. I was just sad, feeling sad for myself. And then look at me now. Wow. It's strange, because years later, you never know. Like they say, you never know what's going to happen. Or just carry on. Believe it.
What worked about the project?
What worked? In what way?
What did you think was done well?
What was done well? The actual seeing the Reno club dance floor and visualising what it used to look like, and that was the fantastic part about it, and that was great stuff.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And how beautiful it looked as well, and from how scrappy it looked. And do you remember the feelings in the early days, thinking, we're never going to do this, how the hell are we going to get there? To seeing it like excavated and then looking cleaned up as well when the
Dance floor part, was it?
No, the volunteers who know what they're doing helped us to clean it up and sweep it off, and it started to look pristine. It's like, oh my God.
That's right.
It looks like beautiful.
That's right.
You never got to tell me the first, because we never did another kind of interview. Tell me about the first day you went down to Reno.
Oh, right. I can recall, a long time ago, obviously. I just left school and I turned 16 years of age. And that evening, my dad says to me, "Come on, I'll take you for a pint down the road," and he bought me a birthday drink.
Right.
With my mum and my dad.
Oh.
And he took me for a birthday drink in the pub, in the Solar Birch within Shell. And then as the night went on, My dad says, right now, Ivan, we're going to go to the Reno on one side. Seeing as though it's your birthday, I'm going to allow you to have one drink at the most. Two drinks at the most, something like that. Anyways, took me down and gets there. And wow, as soon as I walked through that door, all I saw was the Jackson 5, the Temptations, the Sweet Sensations.
Yeah.
No, it just gave me that vision of, and I thought, whoa, yeah. And then at that moment of time, I found myself. I realised, hey, I'm like these guys. I'm one of these guys. Wow, I could look like that. You know, it was so fascinating, and from that moment, wow, it changed my whole lifestyle. It changed. I started dressing very soully and all sorts, and trying to get that afro. Every time I used to get the afro, I used to have to literally, because my hair's that fine.
Yeah,
I used to literally have to use pipe cleaners.
Did you? Because your hair's got loads. We'd have killed for your hair, Ivan. Us girls would have killed for your hair.
And it stood up then, and then I was able to toss it about.
You've got to show me a photo, man.
I've got one actually.
You've got to show me a photo.
It's the only one. And my dad used to say, what are you doing that with your hair for? You got nice hair. Why are you changing into that? You got nice hair. People will kill for your hair.
No, it's true.
You know,
it's true.
And I'm thinking, I'm just visualising the Jackson 5. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, wow. When I saw that afro, it just reminded me of the Jackson 5. You know what I mean? Oh.
Was your dad sorry that he'd taken you then?
Oh, no. I forgot to mention.
Go on.
He turned around and said to me, when I was in there with him, he went, Ivan, now you know this is your true roots.
Really?
Yes, he said. You see these guys and women, these are all your roots of people.
Wow.
He went, when you get older, you'll be back in it. By that time, you'll know exactly what I mean.
How much older was you when you started going down proper?
Properly then, from that moment when I was 16, I was back down there. I must have been 17 or a little bit over, and I was back in the Reno from that moment. And then I used to go as much as I could, but Lache used to always. Sometimes he'd let me in, sometimes he wouldn't, because he knew that I was only young.
Yeah.
He knew I was only like 17. You know what I mean? And he knew my papa too, so and my mum.
Yeah.
And then he saw me a couple of times after that, and then he just started to turn a blind eye, and then he started letting me in front of him. But I always remember when he first saw me, I know your father.
That is your
father know you are here?
Yeah.
It was one of them, honest to God. And I went, yeah.
Where's your dad?
When I see him, I'm gonna tell him I saw you in here.
Where's your dad from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
And your mum's from Yorkshire?
Yorkshire.
How's he met your mum over Yorkshire way? What's he doing over there?
Well, actually, when he met my mum, he met her on a day when he was working on Denmark Road.
Oh, okay.
When he used to be a barber shop just before the corner of Denmark Road, facing the school. The junior school, just across the way. It was around about there where they've got that green, the green section on the corner with the big rockery bricks.
Oh, yeah.
That's where there used to be a barber shop. So anyway, cut the story short, my dad was working that day with another partner, both running the barber shop. And all of a sudden he was chucking, throwing it down. And on that particular day, my mum and a friend had left Yorkshire because he heard so much about Manchester.
Oh, okay. Too bad, girl, then. Go on.
And as he was on Denmark Road there, they were rushing up Denmark Road because it was chucking down and they were getting soaking. And my dad spotted, which was my mother, which is at the time, is my future mum. And my dad was a gentleman, and he rushed to the door and, "Excuse me, madam, excuse me.
Or else he was...
You are sulking, come in here, I will make you a cup of tea." Just to
He's either a gentleman or a fast mover, man.
Go on.
Yeah.
But no, he was a gentleman.
Yeah.
But he had that character.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
did he?
When I say a gentleman, when he spoke, he come across so like gentleman-like type, very well spoken, because my father was very well spoken and very educated. He was so educated. He could have been a teacher. He was so educated. He had so many qualifications in life that he could have done, but for some reason he just let life take over with too much nightlife and too much running about all over the country, Liverpool, Birmingham, then back to Moss side.
Where was he really educated?
Yes, because he was the only child. My grandmother, his mum, he was the only child, one. The only son.
That's unusual.
And my grandmother from Trinidad and Tobago, she had a bakery business where she made cakes and for all occasions in the Caribbean.
Wow.
And that paid for my dad's education.
Oh, wow.
And I believe...
So you're a bit posh, you. Go on.
And I believe my dad went to Belmont education. Belmont, something to do with education and in Trinidad and Tobago. That I do recall, because my father used to always tell me stories and stuff.
So go back to the story. So he opens the door for your mum. Go on.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. And so he brought her inside. He brought them both inside the barber shop, and he gave them a towel each, to dry their hair and stuff, because they had long hair, obviously. And from that moment, my mum says, "You know what? That was it. I had one after the other." She said, "I had Laverne, then you, then Gary." And I said to him, "Right, that's it now, that's enough." And then it was Monica, then it was...
Wow.
She said there was no end. She said, "He gave me 9 of them."
Your mum had 9 kids?
9 children, 9 of us.
Bloody hell, she never?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they was together till they died, weren't they?
That's correct.
Oh man, that's lovely though, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh.
I wish they was here I wish my mum and dad was here now to experience what Linda Brogan brought together for us all.
Oh, what a lovely thing to say, man.
My parents would have definitely been proud of you, Linda.
Oh, thank you. I would definitely have interviewed them.
Oh, my dad, you'd have loved it. So, he'd have told you all the stories from the beginning. And he would have said, "You know what, Linda?" Because I know my dad. He'd go, "You know what, Linda? I was the first black man to drive an American car in Moss.
They love that, don't they? They love that, the first off. Yeah, they love that. My dad was the same. Yeah. Anything the first off, they love it, don't they? Showing off. Oh, fancy them being together.
My dad said that he taught a lot of his country people, and not just from Trinidad and Tobago, his countrymen and that. He taught them how to drive and everything.
Did he?
Yes, he used to help them out and that. He said, "Guy, listen, you must teach me to drive. I've got to start to learn how to drive." My dad said, "No problem." He says, "We'll arrange and I'll show you."
I bet he wrote letters as well back home, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He used to always keep in contact with his mum up until 70s or something like that, and then he had a fallout.
Did they?
Yeah. Because they asked him to pack up in England, leave your wife and kids, and get back in the Caribbean. And my dad just wrote a letter back and says, what? He said, I love my wife and I love my children, and there's no way I'm going to leave them to come back. And that was the end of it. He never contacted them ever again for that. No. And they never contacted him too.
So we never spoke to them again for 30 years or something?
No, exactly.
Why did they want him to go back, Ivan?
And they were grown up too, and we were all like junior kids and all that, you know. And, they just wanted him to go back home. They wanted to get back to the Caribbean, his daughter and son. And I'd never met them anyway. But I had been to Trinidad and Tobago to try and locate them, yeah. And when you go over to the Caribbean, it's not like the Tower Hall. It's not like
true.
It's not like that. You can't get that information. You can't get a birth. You can go into the births and deaths and marriages and all that place there in the Caribbean, but the information will take months because they don't have the information like they have it in England.
You might be better. You need to talk. It's word of mouth better.
Trinidad.
Yeah, it's better word of mouth though, innit? You know, like I remember such a person. Yeah, they lived. Do you know what I mean?
Well, when I was there, through my dad telling me about Belmont, he says, that's where I used to live. In Belmont, Trinidad and Tobago, Port of Spain, because it's under that Port of Spain, Belmont, near Dino Martin, somewhere, because that's where the Grand Master lived.
Okay.
Lord Kitchener, the Grand Master, he was last living in, what did I just say there?
I've no idea what you're talking about now.
Oh, it slipped my mind. Anyways, and so I remembered the Belmont, and that, like I said, and that's where he was educated.
So you went to see the place that he said he was educated?
Yeah.
And is it like a university?
Oh no, I didn't go in there, but when I mentioned it to Caribbean people in Port of Spain and all that, and Tobago, they knew exactly where them places were. So the information was given from my father, proved it instantly. Because as soon as I mentioned, I know where about, that's blah, 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 blah. Whereabouts in it? Number 10, Irving Lane.
Spain. The district that he's from.
Yes.
Right.
That's correct.
So there's nobody that's alive from his family then to find them?
Well, there will be his children, his son and daughter, which they would be the eldest of his children, and which I've never met them, but one day I still want to meet them. I've got no grudges against them. At that time, I understand their feelings too, because they was heartbroken. They was sad because my father was he worked on the ships in the Caribbean, and he used to be a cook on the ships, and he used to go all over the world with the captain, and he cut his hair, feed them, everything, and stuff like that, and that was my dad's job.
Right.
And then when he left one time in Trinidad and Tobago to travel the world as working, when he hit Liverpool, he didn't go back.
Wow.
He fell in love with England instantly, he said.
Did he?
He said, yeah.
And then he fell in love with your mum instantly though as well.
Yeah, he certainly did. But a few before he got to my mum. Wrong bugger he was. I'm glad I'm not like that.
Just imagine, Ivan, if it had not been raining that day, you wouldn't be sat on that
Yes,
couch.
I wouldn't be sat here now.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Mum.
It's amazing that, isn't it, that little sidestep?
Yeah.
Right. I always ask, what do you think could have been done better at the excavation? Well, yeah, at the excavation. Because to evaluate it, you can't just say what was wonderful, you've got to think about everything about it.
In my eyes, I couldn't have asked for anything better than what we did.
Wow.
And what we created. And like I said, I'm proud to be a part of that.
Do you know what else though as well? It wasn't just about the excavation, it was something to do with what we created with each other, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, because we discovered one another's talents.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it actually.
Yeah, you know, and plus it brought out the talent in people. You know what I mean? Because I noticed that. I thought, what? Well, it brought out the talent in me. And I noticed it brought out the talent on the other people too. You know what I mean? Simple as that.
I liked after we'd excavated it as well, when we were sat round the fire. Do you remember? Not just the one in the gambling room, but in the daytime, we was just really relaxed. And
we was all burning wood.
We was all burning wood. It was probably like, it was chilled that time, wasn't it? It was really chilled.
Very chilled.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Wow. An experience and a memory that I'll never forget.
Thank you, darling.
And thank you, Linda.